If you have any questions at any time, if you're new to our webinars, just please type them in the questions box or in the chat box, and we'll try and get to them. Either I'll fire a quick response to you, or we'll stop Janelle in her tracks and get the questions answered, especially if it's something that we might be losing people on. So feel free to do that at any time, and then we'll have some time after the session's over to answer some questions. The webinar will be recorded and posted, if I can, later this afternoon or by Monday to the YouTube site, which the link should have been on all of the various TDP announcements I've sent out. If you don't have that, please let me know and I can get that to you. There are also 3 step-by-step guides that were Janelle put together, some outstanding references there for us. If you can, they should have been in the email to you. They're also posted at the handout section here in the webinar if you need those. At some point here in the near future, I'm going to try and get a somewhat of a site together, be it our FTP or our website, that we can post all of those handouts. So if you lose them, you can recover them. Okay, with that, we'll get started. I will turn things over here to Janelle for today's presentation.
All right, thank you for the outstanding introduction. Justin, let me pull up my screen. All right, so my goal today for this webinar is to show you both how to take data, geospatial data from ArcMap into AutoCAD, and then to do the reverse, to bring in any line work that you might have in CAD back over to ArcMap. I'm not quite sure what y'all are doing, but this webinar, I think, first got its push from Matt Heckler's need to be bringing data back and forth over in Mercer County. So we can thank him for the start of this. And I also need to give a nice shout out to Ryan Evers. He's the one that provided us with a lot of with his drawings and surveys, so I can have a data set to play with today to show you. So thank you, Ryan Evers. We've got some outstanding waterways to take a look at. So the first thing I would like to do is, if you can take a look on my screen, I've got some watershed boundaries here, and I've got some stream networks. These were made by the NRCS Engineering Toolbox, the watershed delineation tools. So in this little example, what I would like to do is to take these 2 data sets over into AutoCAD, where I can design my waterway. So what we're going to do first here is I'm going to go over to the table of contents, and I'm going to right-click on the layers that I want to export. So I right-click, and I'm going to go to Data and Export Data to CAD. And it'll bring up a dialog box, and also Justin mentioned earlier, we've got some guides to take you through this process as well. So the first box to look at is my input features. I'm going to take over my streams layers, and I also want to take over my watershed boundaries. So I'm going to find those. I've got my main watershed that I'm going to take over, and also my sub-watersheds. So here I have all those data sets that I want to export. You can move one or multiple. And what ArcMap is going to do is it's going to create a drawing file to save these in. And it will either overwrite an existing drawing file, a DWG, or it'll create a new one. And what I'll start with here is I would like to overwrite an existing drawing file. So I'm going to browse to that drawing file. And I just realized something. I need to make sure that this drawing file is a 2010 drawing file. it will not export to anything that's saved in like a CAD 2013 file. So I need to go into CAD. Let me bring CAD up and open. Yeah, I'm going to open my waterway drawing file, and I need to back save it from 2013. I'm going to go over to, and I'm working in, as you can see, AutoCAD Civil 3D 2016, but it's this export and the things we're doing today will work in many versions of CAD. If you go on that how-to sheet that I provided and follow the link at the top, it'll and look at Esri's website, they'll detail what versions of CAD are compatible. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I need to save it as a 2010 drawing file to be able to overwrite it and save it. And I'm going to say yes, go ahead and replace. And I'm going to get this error message or this version conflict. It's saying that I might have incompatible objects in my drawing. By back saving, I might lose some functionality. And I'm gonna go ahead with this save. But one thing that I guess I'd caution you to do going forward is to, rather than start creating a drawing and having your alignments and your corridors in your file, add in anything you want from GIS first into just a basic template file that might have your line weights and styles and maybe your layout views in, but save all of your line work, all of your drawing until after you bring in the GIS data. So set up a template file and use that as your seed file. So you're avoiding this back save once you already started drawing. But for this example, I'll show you how to do it both ways. So now we have my drawing back saved to 2010, and I can go back into ArcMap and continue my export to CAD. So it's saying it's already an existing file. I can overwrite, so I'm going to ignore that warning. I'm going to choose to leave this default, and I'm also going to tell it to append to existing files. Add this data to this existing drawing file. My seed file is something I just mentioned. Your seed file is a file that ArcMap will add data to. So I really recommend using a seed file because you've already got your coordinate system set, you've got all of your line styles and layers in that drawing, and you can also put your layouts or whatever, so you're not starting from scratch each time. If you don't use a seed file, ArcMap will just drop all of that data into a new drawing file that doesn't have, it'll just be all standards. So let's specify that seed file, and I should close it while it's, sorry, I'm going to go into ArcMap and close my DWG while it writes to it so I don't come up with any system errors. All right, I closed it. I'm specifying my seed file is limcoolswaterway.dwg. I have everything filled out. I'm ready to click OK. And now she will write to that DWG file and add the layers that I specified, this streams layer and each of my main basin and my sub-basins as well. I think she should be writing that. Here we go. And she went ahead and she added all of those line types to my drawing. Here, let's go ahead. I'm going to open that CAD file back up, limcoolswaterway.dwg, and hopefully in addition to survey points in an aerial, we'll see the streams and the watershed boundaries added as well. So let's come over to CAD, and hopefully she will show us her magic. Okay, I'm getting a notice message. This DWG file was saved by an application that was not developed or licensed by Autodesk. What do I want to do? I want to continue opening, and I'm going to just continue opening. I won't hit the default button. All right, let's take a look. Here on the corner of my screen, I see what I want to see. She's added streams and my watershed boundaries. Good job. All right, fantastic. Step one, we accomplished our mission. I'm going to turn this off. The next thing I'd like to try, so I've exported that out. Now I'm going to work on my drawing in CAD, get it to where I want it, and what if I want to see that CAD data back in ArcMap? It's actually a really easy thing to do. The way we're going to take a look at this is I'm going to, and thankfully Ryan Evers has provided me with his finished waterway drawing, so I'm going to navigate over to Catalog, and I'm going to find Ryan's North Waterway design. So there are 3 steps that I need to do to be able to bring CAD data into ArcMap. The first one is to just navigate to it into Catalog. Step 1, found it. Step 2 is that I need to provide a spatial reference for it. AutoCAD, when you have a drawing, even if you've specified in your drawing settings what your coordinate system is, there's no external file that ArcMap can read readily to know what that coordinate system was that you specified within ArcMap, or sorry, within AutoCAD. So in Ryan's drawing file, if I went to the drawing and went to settings, I can see that he used State Plane North Zone, or Ohio State Plane North Zone. So that's what I need to specify now. Again, I right-clicked on the drawing, went to Properties. It brought up this dialog box, CAD Feature Dataset Properties. I clicked Edit, and now we have this Spatial Reference Properties dialog box. You can see that I'm cheating a little bit. I already have these coordinate systems that I used often in my favorites. If you would like to add those, we can always just navigate to where your coordinate systems are. I need NAD 83 US feet. Scroll down until I get to Ohio, too far north. And if I wanted to add that to my favorites, I could click this little button. I can't add it now because I've already added it. But if I were in Oregon, for example, North Zone, I could click this button. It'll add it to favorites. So next time when I'm assigning a coordinate system, I don't have to navigate through everything. All right, North Zone. Shelby County is North Zone. So here we go. I'm going to click OK, and it comes in. I now have my coordinate system. I'm going to click OK. What that does, if I refresh, what I thought it was going to do is that it will add a little projection file. Here we go. I can see it over in, if I'm in Windows Explorer, by adding that coordinate system, it creates this projection file, and now that'll follow along with my waterway, so I don't have to specify this over and over again if I keep using the same waterway drawing. All right, so step 1, found it. Step 2, added the coordinate system. Step 3, add it to the drawing. And so I just dragged and dropped it into my map space. And look at that, we got a blue screen. Let's try this again. I haven't seen that yet. Well, I'm glad technology can show her true colors. I'm not quite sure what I did that would have upset her. We'll bring it back and try it again. So the next example, oh, here we go. Maybe this will go fast. All right, I'll try maybe just drawing or bringing in the polyline. So I can expand the drawing and it'll show me each type of feature that's contained in that drawing. Let's see if I can just bring polylines in and keep her happy. She's okay. So here we go. I've got, Ryan's got for me some tile lines running along the side of his waterway. Let's bring in polygons. Oops, I brought in the whole watershed as well. But if I can open up the attribute table, and if I just want to get my waterway, our design or our cost shared area, I can select a row in the attribute table, and she highlights and shows me the seating area is our cost shared part. So if you want to have all of this data cataloged in ArcMap, it's really easy to bring in a drawing file into ArcMap, especially if you're doing all of your surveying and your drawing and everything's georeferenced. If you're working in an entity that doesn't have access to maybe a survey grade GPS unit and you're using a total station, but you still want to bring that data into ArcMap and have it georeferenced, we can do that too. And let's do that. So I had to dumb down some of Ryan's work to make this work. So he did 2 waterways on this field, and I had to strip away any kind of georeferencing for this south waterway. Like before, I'm going to go to Properties and add the coordinate system that I want it to be in. And click OK. So I've assigned a coordinate system to it. I'm going to add it to my drawing. Oh dear. This is new. We'll not send it. I guess we're going to add it a piece at a time. Maybe my system demands are too high right now with CAD and ArcMap and the webinar going. We'll do it one piece at a time. We'll do it Johnny Cash style today. All right, let's open this back up. So what we can do if you're working with CAD data that doesn't have a coordinate system, or it's been 5,000 north, 5,000 east is your coordinate system, we can georeference it to our map. So I'm going to bring in the south waterway data, I guess, piece by piece. I'll bring in my polylines, my polygons, and my point data. Multi-patch is 3D representations. I don't have anything that's multi-patch in my drawing, and I honestly don't want the annotations in ArcMap at this point. So what I would like to do is I want to zoom. Let me make sure that I got, sorry, before I get too deep in this, I wanted to make sure that spatial referencing was saved before my crash. It was, we're good. All right, I'm going to zoom to this layer, and it is not in Shelby County right now. I'm going to hit the little globe up here and do a full extent zoom. So we are clearly not in Shelby County. The data that I added from CAD are parked over here, and my waterway is right over here. So what I'm going to do, as I said before, is do a georeference. I'm going to link this unreferenced, or we could call it our total station surveyed data and waterway. I'm going to link this to known points over here in Shelby County. To do that, I'm going to first view my georeferencing toolbar. So I'm going to right-click up in this gray space and find georeferencing. Open my georeferencing toolbar. I'm going to park it up here. And what georeferencing does, it just links, it allows you to link data with known spaces. I'm going to add some control points, and the control points that I want to use are actually, if I'm sorry, I should do a better zoom. Let's zoom to layer. Ryan's got 2 benchmarks surveyed with this waterway. They're surveyed in with, we'll say, a total station, and I went out with a GPS unit and I got those 2 benchmarks. I'm going to use those as a georeferencing. I'm doing that because I want to be very precise. You can do a georeference just on like an aerial visual assessment. I do that often when I'm going out on an I&E, a farm visit, and there's been a lot of updates on a farm, and the county flights or the USDA flights didn't capture it, but it might be on Google Maps. I'll just clip that aerial image and georeference it into a drawing. But I'm going to be super precise this time, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the survey points of the benchmarks that were collected with the GPS unit. So I'm going to go to File, Add Data, Add XY Data. And it brings up this dialog box. The first step is I need to find where that survey is. And I'm going to bring it in as a CSV file. Look, it's already in the same folder. Okay, so here's just my survey of benchmarks. I'm going to tell it to add. What I need to do is to specify what's the X field, or what's the easting, what's my northing, and what's my elevation. And this elevation field's optional. We can just bring in XY data if you want. So I have a PNEZD data set, so my X field is field 3, my Y is field 2, and my Z is field 4. It's bringing in my coordinate system. Actually, this was surveyed in state plane. I'm not quite sure why it defaulted to that. My drawing must be that. So I'm going to go to Favorites and do State Plane North. Okay, that looks better. All right, I am going to click OK, and it added the points. Let's make sure they came to where I wanted them to lie. Good. They look like they're. I didn't screw up any field numbers. Sometimes if you inverse the X and Y, it gets a little goofy, but we got it right today. Very good. All right, I have everything in place. I'm ready to start my georeferencing. So my first step is to make sure the layer that I want to georeference is listed here. I'll do my point layer. Next, I'm going to click on this to add my control points. The control points are established by first clicking on the data without spatial referencing. So I'm going to zoom to my layer here. And I'll start with this benchmark. And what makes this really nice is if you turn on your snapping toolbar and do snapping, so I can snap to that point. All right. Next, I'm going to zoom back to where these points are in real space. And it's saying, I'm trying to read this little blurry text on the screen that's saying it's a point file. Good. All right, let's snap to my point. And I actually want to tell her to auto-adjust so it makes life easier on me so I don't keep zooming back out into deep into right field. All right, so she brought it over, but 2 points make, or 2 control point sets makes a good georeference, so I'm going to keep going with my control points. I need to zoom in here. I feel like somewhere up here was my other control point. Here she is. Oh, I'm going to have to turn off, I need to turn off my survey points so I'm not snapping to the wrong thing. Actually, I'm going to turn off a lot of points so I just have what I need here. So this is Limcoal South Waterway Point. Good. All right. I'm snapping to my DWG data. Now I'll turn that off and bring back on my survey points. And look, she's already snapping to it. It's perfectly aligned because everything was drawn to scale, and that makes me really happy. All right. But in cases where things were drawn with a skew, where your north wasn't exactly north, you won't see that perfect alignment that we just had there. All right, I have 2 sets of control points. Had I drawn one really goofy, wait, I have 1 set of control points. That's no good. All right, let's see why did my first one go away? I did an auto adjust, that's why. All right. Sorry. So I drew my first set and I did an auto adjust, which allowed ArcMap to save that first control point, and so I can no longer edit it, which is why it's no longer in my link table. So I did 1 additional control point. That additional is shown in my link table. So I've used 2 points to create my georeferencing, and I want to turn back on my points and make sure I'm satisfied with how things look here. And you can see that not just the point, but the polylines and the polygons for that drawing have all been brought over by georeferencing one aspect of that DWG. All of those features come together. So I'm going to zoom out and see how my watershed boundaries align. They look beautiful, and I'm very satisfied with my georeference. And I am going to say update georeferencing. What that does is it saves those control points to my drawing or to my map file, my MXD file. When I'm working with CAD, it's a special type of georeferencing that allows me to create a world file. This world file saves the control points for this drawing so that I only do this georeferencing once. And what I need to do if I want to create this world file is to save it with the same name as my DWG in the same folder as the DWG so that it links them and they travel together. So my DWG is in this folder, and this is the name of my drawing. So all I need to do here is click Save, and I've created that world file. Let's go back to Windows Explorer and see what that is. Here we go. So she assigned the projection file when I assigned the spatial referencing, and she just added this world file after I did georeferencing. Brilliant. So there we have how you would take, especially if you have older CAD drawings that you did prior to having access to a survey grade GPS, and especially if you did a total station survey. And if you wanted to bring everything into ArcMap and create a really beautiful geodatabase of all these drawings you've ever had, that is how you could do it with georeferencing. Our last step, what I would like to do in this webinar is to show you how we could convert these drawing files, or these drawing line works, my my tile lines, for example, or my seating area in the waterway, how could I convert that to something that's native to ArcMap so that I'm not always dealing with components of DWGs, which apparently, at least on my system, cause ArcMap to occasionally crash. So how do I make that conversion? It's actually, like everything else we've seen today, is actually quite simple. And for reference, my computer is female. I feel like some people might not appreciate her quirks. All right, to export my line work from CAD that I'm viewing in ArcMap to something that's native to ArcMap, I'm going to go over to the table of contents, right-click on any one of these features. I personally would like to take my seating area over. Let's do my seating area. So let's open up my South Waterway polygon because it's a closed area, and I'm going to sort my layers, and here we have it popped right up, my seating layer. This is my waterway. This is what I want to catalog. So I'm going to right-click up here and convert CAD feature layer. I just want to do this layer. If I want to do an entire data set, so everything in that DWG, I could do that with this option. But I just want to take out the seating layer at this point. So I'm going to select feature layer. Oh, good. I thought she was going to crash again. So by just having one feature in my polygon layer selected, I'm only going to export that selected layer. I'm not going to bring the other 150 plus pieces with me. My output feature class, I'm going to specify to this, let's put it with my geodata in my D drive. Oh, good. I'm going to put it in a geodatabase. And look, I've already got grassed waterways as a polygon in there. I'm going to call this LimCool 2016 South. And save that into my geodatabase as a feature class. And then there are these 4 boxes here that are all optional. And likely if you're joining us on this webinar, these are all boxes that you'll want to leave blank. Esri will calculate the spatial grid, and what these are, it's kind of like when you look at a roadmap and you've got maybe A's going across the left and 1 through 20 going across the top of your map. It's a way that Esri is able to quickly index and navigate to 2 spaces on your map. And Esri or ArcMap will calculate those within itself unless you specify them. So unless you absolutely know what you're doing here, just leave these blank. Likewise, the configuration keyword, there's a default that's in there that you can overwrite, but I don't have the expertise to make a different specification, so I leave it blank and it goes to a default, and that keeps my system happy. So here I just need to fill out what I'm exporting and to where. And I'm going to click OK. And she'll copy the feature to my geodatabase and hopefully here add it back to my map. There she is. All right, let's isolate that, turn off some of these other layers. So it's nice, I've got my waterway here. It's in a format that keeps ArcMap happy and functioning well, but there's one limitation. What if I wanted to put all of my grass waterways onto one layer instead of having a different layer for every waterway? We can do that too. What we're going to do is we're going to go and start an editing session. Start editing, and what I want to edit is the layer that I am going to copy from, I think. Oh, I'm rusty. Here we go. So I'm going to find LimCool. What did I call this? LimCool 2016 South. Here we go. I'm going to select the feature that I want to copy. Then I'm going to right-click and say copy. And now I'm going to paste, and it prompts me what is my target layer? Where do I want to copy this to? Oh, this is a problem. I did not add my target layer to my map. All right, cancel. Let's bring over geodata grass waterways. Let's bring her into my map, and let's try to do this paste again. Hey, look, here my target is grass waterways. Okay. And now grass waterways will include, if I open my attribute table, oh, I have the same layer in here twice. That's unfortunate. Let's bring in my north waterway too. So LimCool waterway, polygons, north. Did she add it? Where did it go? I don't see it. So, oh, it's right under my cursor. I'm really sorry. All right, I'm going to open attribute table. I'm going to take my seeding like I did before, and I'm going to export to CAD, or export CAD data. I'll choose my output to be LimCool 2016 North. Save. Okay. She export. I clearly did something wrong because I have a lot of data that just came back in. Or no. Cool North. Open attribute table. No, we did okay. We're fine. We just have this one seeding area that came in. All right, now, same as before, I'm going to stop my editing and save the edits I did. I'm going to open an editing session. I'll slow down, I'm sorry. I'm going to open an editing session and do LimCool 2016 North for my seeding area. I'll select it. Good. And now I'm going to copy it, and now I'm going to paste it. And my target is my grass waterways layer. Good. So let's take a look at grass waterways again. I'm going to go down to the attribute table and click and look. I've got 3 layers. Unfortunately, 2 of them are the same. But I have both of my grass waterways in one feature class. There. So if you want to go hog wild and bring in every grass waterway that you've ever done into one geodatabase, here you could do it. You could do the same thing with your watershed boundaries or any other geodata set that you'd like to collect and catalog. That is what I wanted to cover with you today. And I'm happy to take any questions that you guys might have.
Any questions for Janelle? There were a lot of steps. I'm impressed with how easy the overall process is nowadays between CAD and GIS and talking to each other. They really do talk directly, as you saw from one software to the other. Very smooth transitions with a lot of little steps in between. So hopefully, as we go through the the step step-by-step printouts, as well as if you need to watch the video and you can kind of piece it all together and see how smooth and seamless it is. Hopefully you can also come up with maybe some other ideas of how you could move data back and forth. This was a pretty good example of pretty common practice with waterway design and watersheds to the waterway, and how we might go back and forth between the two softwares. But I'm sure there's hopefully a lot of other ideas out there going through your heads and ways that we could go back and forth.
Yeah, if you guys have any, if you'd like me to stop doing grass waterways and have different examples, I'm happy to play with those as well. We just do a lot of grass waterways over here, so if you've got other examples, please ask me to play with those data sets as well.
Okay, last call for any questions. I don't see anything posted up here. We will take a little bit of break on the webinars here from the CAD and the GIS and move over next month to Kip Studer talking about the voluntary nutrient management plans and the Excel sheet that was highlighted in the nutrient management TDP that many people went through there in November and December. At the end of class, we'll take a little bit more time, and I think you'll understand it a little more seeing it directly on screen, and then we'll pick up with a couple more CAD and GIS webinars and finish out some of these topics here soon. So thank you everyone for your attendance, and we will see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon and have a good weekend.
Thank you.